you clicked on my video. Well, aren't you lovely? What is up, dudes and dudettes? This is Shane, no gamertag intro for today. What I plan on doing is starting a new series on my channel called Movie Talk, where if you didn't gather, I will be talking about movies. Now, specifically today, this news is too big of news to pass up. I'm like a fat kid who loves cake, and in this case, the cake is knowledge, and I'll be eating up the knowledge and feeding it back to you like a mama bird feeds her young, and that's a little bit weird, but I will not be cutting it. I will be talking about some news from Comic-Con that was interesting to me. It's superhero related, so I hope you guys do enjoy it. Let's jump into the first topic. Alright, before I do that, I should mention right off the bat, if you are expecting professionalism, you ain't going to get that here. One, because my vocabulary is too low. Also, it is movie talk, hence I will be talking, and what the hell was that going up the road? It's like Sons of Anarchy. Must be Biker Week. But one of the first things I want to talk about is Arrow Season 2. Now, I was first introduced to the Green Arrow character in Smallville, who was played by Justin Hartley at the time, who did a great job, I must say. I love Smallville. But now this is a standalone for the hero Green Arrow, who is now played by Stephen Amell. And I have to say, I effing love Stephen Amell, man. He is so cool. He's a great actor. Now, what I love from this interpretation of Arrow is that he's a lot more darker and he's a lot more badass, I have to say it. Whether it be from parkour to witty banter to being a master of the bow, you, Stephen Amell, do this character justice. And that was a very, very good pun on my part. This is the type of comedy you can expect from me. But getting back to the trailer, one of the main things I love now is that they'll be setting him up as a hero and not just as the vigilante and the hood. He'll be also probably known now as Green Arrow. Another thing I liked about the trailer is we're going to see more of Mr. Roy Harper. Hopefully he will become Speedy in this season. But not only that, they have introduced, and this is recently confirmed, that Flash will be making a regular appearance on the show also. And that was really interesting to me because they said they wouldn't go down the superhero route. Which means maybe later on they might introduce Green Lantern as well, because they've already hinted at him. So that was really interesting to me. And of course also in the trailer they show Black Canary. And it's interesting to me because they found a different actress to play Black Canary. Her name is Katie Lutz. She was in most recently a movie called The Pact, which I didn't really like, but I definitely see potential in her as an actress. And honestly, from the trailer, she's kicking ass. So that's all I really wanted to see. But I think everybody had a fair idea that it was going to be Laurel who was going to become Black Canary. So it's interesting they went with a different actress. Either way, definitely excited for Arrow Season 2. We need more of Mr. Manu Bennett, Mr. Slade Wilson, Deathstroke, basically, because the banter between those two is hilarious. We need more Felicity. Emily Bett Rickards, who, off topic for a second, would make an awesome Harley Quinn, by the way. And of course, Oliver and Felicity, I ship more too. I don't think I'm alone on that one. And of course, one of my more favorite things to come from the Arrow Season 2 trailer is Summer Glau. Summer Glau, who is better well known for her roles in Terminator, Sarah Connor Chronicles, and from Firefly and Serenity. Two of the greatest shows that never got a chance to finish. It was a major fuck up on the part of whoever was involved in the cancelling of those shows. But either way, she will be also making a regular appearance on Arrow. Definitely excited for that. Go watch Season 2 when it's released. Go watch Season 1 now. But not right now, because you're listening to me and I do appreciate that. But you are silly. You're wasting your time. Because I probably have one of the most boring voices ever. Well, let's move on to the next topic. Okay, so hopefully I am doing okay so far. But my next topic is the Avengers 2 Age of Ultron. But before all of that, at the Thor 2 panel, Tom Hiddleston came out as the character Loki in full armor and basically stole the hearts of every man, woman and child there. And of course, he said one of my favorite quotes from the Avengers film, "I am Loki of Asgard and I am burdened with glorious purpose." I love that line, and I fucking love Tom Hiddleston too, man. And not to mention, you can't spell Loki without okay. But I have to say that Tom Hiddleston as Loki, probably one of the greatest villains of all time, and definitely one of the greatest villains of our generation. But he basically got the crowd all excited. I think he did a fantastic job in doing so. And they rolled a clip for Thor 2, only available to people at the con, unfortunately. And that was pretty much it. But later on at the Marvel Comic Con panel, Joss Whedon basically showed a teaser trailer for the name of the next Avengers film, which we already know. That is The Avengers 2 Age of Ultron. Now, I am excited for the next Avengers to a certain point, and I am a little disappointed because Joss Whedon has stated that Henry Pym, who does play the character Ant-Man, will not be in the Avengers 2, nor will he have anything to do with the creation of Ultron. Now, that was a what the hell moment for me, because, okay, firstly, I have to state, I'm not the greatest comic book buff out there. The comic books weren't available to me. I only go off of what I see from the films. I know a little bit about everything, and of course from the animated TV series and all that. But I do feel they have put a lot of unnecessary work on themselves. If they had just come out with Ant-Man in 2014 with the origin story, the villain who possibly will be either the group AIM or MODOK, and introduced the character Janet Van Dyne, who is the character Wasp, who in my opinion should be played by Mary Elizabeth Winstead. Now that is just my opinion, but you know I'm right. So all they had to do was have those two characters in the same film, Henry Pym and Janet Van Dyne, Ant-Man and Wasp together. Have Henry Pym be working on Ultron, along with the villain, who we don't know yet, but like I said, I either think it'll be the group AIM or MODOK. And then wham bam, thank you ma'am, they'll both be ready for 2015 for the Avengers 2 Age of Ultron. It makes perfect sense. It was a lot of unnecessary work, and it's a shame it didn't work out like that. And also, I'm wondering when Black Panther will be introduced into the Avengers. It's a mess, it's a mess. But with Ultron, I feel like he is a great villain for the Avengers. But who will be involved with the creation of Ultron? And I think everybody has a fair idea now that it will be Tony Stark. Tony Stark will have something to do with the creation of Ultron, possibly with the help of Bruce Banner. We don't know yet, obviously. And we still don't know what role Vin Diesel has to play in the Marvel Universe. And first off, I have to say, thank God Vin Diesel is being recognized out there, because I feel Vin Diesel is probably one of the most underrated and underappreciated actors of our generation. I'm glad he's ranging outside of the Fast and Furious. I'm glad we're going to see him in a lot more stuff, whether it be from Triple X to Riddick now to Marvel. And I believe he's doing Kojak as well, which would be pretty awesome to see. And hopefully the character I believe Vin Diesel will play is Vision. People are saying it could be Thanos as well. That could work too. I don't know much about his character. But for the movie itself, I'm definitely excited. Now, Thor 2 is released in November, and Captain America the Winter Soldier is released in April of next year. So Ant-Man has to be in either, or I'm guessing it will be Captain America. But I am excited for Captain America, seeing the Falcon, seeing the Winter Soldier, and I'm excited for Thor, but I'm quite nervous for Thor as well. And here's why, and I have a quote from Tom Hiddleston himself. And this is one of the main reasons I think this video is going to do so good, is because I do my homework. Now, I said you wouldn't expect any professionalism, but I'll give it a go. So here is the quote from Tom Hiddleston, read by yours truly. I think it's great for the film that I'm not going to be in it, because I'm so proud of the first one. Joss and I, there were so many things that we both love about it, and in a way, if I was in it, we'd be chasing those moments. We'd be chasing that again. The Avengers need a new bad guy to fight. They need new things to do, but for the film, I'll be waving them off and saying good luck, have fun, and I'll be in the front row when it comes out. Now, here's the thing. This gets me thinking that he's not just sending this one out, but it's almost like he's done, which means that he's going to die in Thor 2, and I really don't want to see that happen at all. I'm going to be excited and depressed for this film, and I have a feeling, obviously, nothing is confirmed, but he will have something to do with the rescue of Jane Foster, portrayed by the beautiful Natalie Portman. I don't know, he might be some sort of sacrifice maybe. I don't know, we'll wait and see. But I hope he lives. Just keep him alive, please. Okay, thanks. So, speaking briefly on the first Avengers film, by far visually the best hero movie ever made. The fight scenes were brilliant. one of the main fight scenes I was hoping was going to be in the first Avengers was Thor and Hulk. And it lived up to my expectations of their fight, especially on the helicarrier. Oh, I got chills and they were multiplying. Shout out to Greece. And not to mention Hulk punching Thor off screen was pretty hilarious. But especially the chemistry between characters, it worked really well. Story wasn't that bad, but it wasn't that great either. Everything worked out very conveniently at the end. But I still enjoyed it. I went to see it 4 times in the cinema. But getting back to 3 specific characters who basically were the founders of the original Avengers, with that being Ant-Man, Wasp, and Black Panther. Who would you like to see play the 3? Now, I will give you my choices on the characters. I'm not going to give any reasons why, but when I name them, you'll know. So here are my genius choices for Ant-Man: Jensen Ackles, Nathan Fillion, and Armie Hammer. Alright, for Wasp, I've already stated this. Mary Elizabeth Winstead. Okay, I'll be the first to admit I was a little bit closed-minded, but I do have some more actresses that could play the role of Wasp. Let me know what you think. Emilia Clarke, Alexandra Daddario, Erica Durance, and Morena Baccarin. And for Black Panther, Michael J. White, Tyrese Gibson, or Will Smith. And I'm throwing this in here for shits and giggles for a younger Black Panther, but Donald Glover. I think my choices are pretty accurate if I do say so myself. So we are done with the Avengers, so let me finally move on to my final topic of the video. So now the main reason I wanted to make this video is because of the biggest announcement to come out of Comic-Con. I know it wasn't Godzilla, even though I am excited for that too. I've been waiting for that movie for years. But of course it was the Superman Batman movie announcement. So firstly, it started out by Zack Snyder bringing out Harry Lennix, who plays General Swanwick in The Man of Steel. And they were talking about how Harry Lennix has an amazing voice. And I'll admit the man does. But he read a passage, and I'm very fortunate to have the comic he read the passage from. Firstly, it is from The Dark Knight Returns. But the passage goes as follows. And see, this is the type of professionalism you can expect from me. Alright, so the quote goes as follows. I want you to remember, Clark, in all the years to come, in your most private moments, I want you to remember my hand at your throat. I want you to remember the one man who beat you. Now, when they showed the logo like the one I have on screen right now, I cried. And I don't know why, but I cried and I was overwhelmed and everyone lost their minds. The shit was bananas. And the best thing about this announcement is that it's going to be released in 2015. And maybe it's too soon for the sequel. Maybe they haven't even found Batman. Firstly, I have to give respect to Warner Brothers and DC for taking a huge step in making this film. At first I was sad because I felt it's at the wrong time where Christian Bale would have been a perfect match for Cavill for his portrayal of Superman. But sadly, Christian Bale is done with Batman. But I hope when the new Batman is announced, it really is Christian Bale. And he's like, JK, it's me, let's do this. I don't know why Christian Bale sounds like he's having an asthma attack. I'm sorry, I'm not used to talking for this long. But what they're looking for now is a more grittier, older Batman, and I love that more. I'd like to see a more veteran, experienced Batman. But the casting is very important, and I know that's obvious to say, but let me explain. Henry Cavill was not a very well-known actor up until this point, but he is a great actor, don't get me wrong, and I can't wait for his movie with Armie Hammer, the man from Uncle. And to the point, he's a great actor, he's a great Superman, and I love Man of Steel so much I went to see it 7 times. But did some things bother me from that movie? Yes, of course. But it was little inconsistencies, but it didn't affect the movie as a whole. Now, I'm going to name out some of the things I did love from Man of Steel. When Kid Clark was experiencing all his powers at once, and when they called Martha Kent, played by the beautiful Diane Lane, she's a Kent and a Lane at the same time. She's the best of both worlds, and that was the worst joke I ever could have made. but I had to make it anyway. It was my obligation to do it. And if I didn't do it, it would be worse if I didn't. But going back to the scene, I love the way Martha Kent consoled her son. And I know that's obvious to say because it is her son, but it was beautifully acted and written. And I just basically love that scene. Also, I love how everybody, basically everyone in Smallville, knows Clark's secret and they choose to keep it a secret. And they protect it. Now, I could be wrong, but when Clark was in the water, all beard faced and all that, I'd like to think Aquaman sent them for Clark's well being. Now, I know it's kind of silly to say because they don't know each other yet, but at the same time, you have to kind of feel that entity if you are a superhero yourself. And I don't care how stupid that sounds, that's my story and I am sticking to it. Now, getting to Lois Lane, Amy Adams, she's honestly the perfect Lois Lane for this role. Firstly, I love Amy Adams anyway. Her determination for this role. She auditioned for Superman Returns. She also auditioned for the role of Lois Lane on Smallville, which later went to Erica Durant. And I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Erica Durant, by far the best Lois Lane we've ever had. Oh no, he didn't. Yeah, I did, internet, and it's on video for you to see. It's obvious, by far Erica Durant's the best Lois Lane ever. Never! God, Tom, if you're watching this, you know how much I love Erica Durant. He'll even tell you, I really do. Now, with that being said, Erica Durant, I would love to see her as Wonder Woman. If not that, Alexandra Daddario. But we will get to a Fantasy Justice League later. But hopefully, maybe not in Man of Steel 2, getting back to the topic, or even in the after credits. They have to address who was in the open pod. And a lot of people believe it was Kara. I do too. Who is Supergirl, for those who didn't know. And some people believe it was Doomsday, which is stupid. But, you know, people have a right to their opinion. Now, the next thing I would like to talk about is the fight scene between Superman and Zod. From beginning to end, it was epic. And for those who didn't like it, suck it up, get over it. It's epic, it's done. It's done! But, of course, I was concerned with all the destruction caused partially to Smallville, but the bulk of the destruction was caused to Metropolis. But now I feel this sets up perfectly for Man of Steel 2. Or, honestly, I think they'll basically call the movie Batman vs. Superman. Or Superman vs. Batman. I think they'll start with Superman first. But whatever they decide to call it, I don't care. I just want the movie to be perfect. So, back to Batman again. There's just so many tangents. All very relative though. Man of Steel, Henry Cavill, not that well known, but still did a fantastic job. But this cannot be the case for Batman. The actor who plays the role of Bruce Wayne and Batman, he has to be familiar and respected. And someone who the audience will believe could, can, and will be Batman. Now, my personal favorites for younger, older Batman are Jensen Ackles, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and I believe if he wasn't doing Wolverine, he would also be a fantastic Batman, but Hugh Jackman, Karl Urban, and Josh Brolin. Now, I said I'd say this anyway because I believe that these two men would both play very interesting interpretations of the character. Firstly, Jason Momoa, and secondly, Sam Worthington. So if you haven't already, leave your comments in the comment section below. Let me know if my choices are basically idiotic and stupid. But if they are, you try and one-up me and let me know your choices. Okay, so getting back to what I was talking about earlier. Again, tangents, all relevant. Now, why all the destruction in Metropolis sets up a great story in my opinion, if it happens like this, and I am a little biased because it is my idea, but here is my idea. So, Metropolis is left devastated after the invasion of Zod, and it'll take a lot of money and resources to rebuild, in which I believe we will see Lex Luthor. I call him Luthor, but it's Luthor. Lex Luthor become the hero of Metropolis at a point where most people distrust Superman, and one of his investors or possibly partner will be Bruce Wayne. Now, obviously, I'm not too sure how the two will come to clash. I have nothing to do with the making of the movie, but it might be established that Clark sees Lex as his enemy, and therefore Bruce Wayne must be an enemy too. I'm also guessing Bruce Wayne knows Clark's secret, which adds to the danger, and I think this is when we will see what Superman's weakness will be. They haven't introduced kryptonite yet, and honestly, I don't think they will. Now, what I think it will be is some sort of Kryptonian tech incorporated into a heavy batsuit, but either way, if done correctly, Superman vs. Batman will be the biggest movie ever created. Biggest superhero movie, the most grossing film of all time, all of that if done correctly. Now, I believe they have found their Batman, and they're just keeping it quiet until they have to. I also believe they have this script nearly completed and have had an idea of what to do for some time. So, with that being said, I wish the very best of luck to David Goyer and Jack Schneider, and I'm sure Christopher Nolan will have some input too. Wink, wink, Christian Bale. Now, this was a long video. Let me know your thoughts on everything I have discussed and what else you enjoyed from Comic-Con if I have missed out on anything else. So with that being said, thanks for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed. And I will see you next time. Deuces. Also, go see the Wolverine. It's badass. It'll lead in perfectly to Days of Future Past. Okay, see ya.